rather season 3. This is episode 1 of Tony Talks, and of course, Get Up and Grow. And I'm your host, Tony Rodriguez. I am here, and I come together here weekly with inspirational leaders, influencers, and change makers uh, to bring you the best of the best with their stories, knowledge, wisdom to share a bit of their mind and a bit of their heart to help you grow through what you go through. Because in life is about growing, right? And it's about growing through what you go through. Because until you grow through it, you keep going through it. So our goal here at Get Up and Grow is to help you grow through what you're going through in an easy, more effective, more efficient way so that you can live the life that you desire, live the life that you deserve and yearn for. So you can live your life by design and not just by chance, right? By choice. So with us today, we have an amazing, amazing woman. She is certainly one of those influencers, one of those change makers, one of those incredible entrepreneurs that has faced adversity, that has from meager beginnings, and she's now exploding onto the scene. She's an author of several books, as well as an investment company and so many other great things. I want to introduce you to my dear friend, Migena. Migena, good morning. Great to see you.
Good morning. Can you see me great though? That's the question.
You know, we were talking about this offline. If your image isn't coming in clear to me for whatever reason, yet I don't know. Sometimes the technology gods don't work in our favor. So hopefully it is coming through, and I'll actually check YouTube to see how we're coming through on YouTube. Hopefully.
Actually, don't we love this, Tony, that we are online and speaking as if it's just the two of us speaking and checking ourselves out on all social platforms. And I am learning. I'm learning. And let's see. Where is
I will
Migena?
tell you, it looks like you're coming in a little fuzzy on there right now. I don't know. Again, technical issues. I don't know. Sometimes we do have some overcast skies. Sometimes the
Oh my
internet
God. Yes, I see it.
yeah, perhaps the internet connection isn't great. I don't know.
Hmm.
Don't know what's
In
going on.
Australia, it's
Which is
clear.
a shame because people don't get to see you in all of your glory. So hopefully it'll improve as the stream continues. I don't know. Perhaps you can try with a different internet connection.
Can I
Maybe
can I try with my phone maybe?
you can. So I'll tell you what. We'll let you. I'll have you drop off and just jump back in, and I'll entertain the folks here while we wait for you to come back in.
I love it. Let's give it another try.
Excellent. All right. So while McGenna comes back in to join us, I just want to say again, thank you. This is season 3, episode 1. And I do have an incredible lineup of speakers coming to you. Again, it really is about highlighting the struggles that people go through, right? And I've never met a strong person with an easy past, right? We've all go through adversity. We all fall. We all have these things that happen in our lives that we think are the things that are meant to break us, but they're not there to break us. They're there to strengthen us, to make us stronger so that we can become an even better version of ourselves. Those things that are happening in life are happening for us 95% of the time. They're happening for us and not to us. And they're happening to prepare us for what it is we say we want, for what it is we're asking for. Because if you get the opportunity of a lifetime and you're not ready for it, you're not prepared to take advantage of it, then it's an opportunity wasted. It's something that comes and goes and you don't grow from it. And adversity forces us to grow. Innovation is sparked by necessity, by the change that we need to make. And as I was speaking earlier with some friends, is that we only change when the pressure and the pain of staying the same is greater than actually evolving into who we're supposed to evolve. All right, we've got Migena back on her phone. Looks great, much better, much better. Thank you, Migena.
Is it better?
Yeah, much better, much better.
Let's see.
Still not. I don't know that we're 100% crisp yet, but you know what? I'm looking at YouTube, and you look a lot better than we did before. So fantastic. So I just want to introduce again everyone to Migena. And you know what? I'm gonna mess up your name, but it's Migena Agaraj. I think I hope I didn't misspell your name. You just went black screen on me here. There you go. You're back. So thank you again for joining us. So I brought Migena on because Migena and I are working on a few projects, and her story is actually a fascinating one. She, like I was, is an immigrant to this country. She comes from the great country of Albania. To all our Albanian friends out there, so she's absolutely a great example of who and what this country is about. Coming from a different country, starting all over, starting from meager beginnings, and then working our way to the top. So I'm not going to tell her story for her. I'm going to let Migena introduce herself, who she is. And again, you are definitely one of those inspirational leaders. You are one of those influencers, and you are one of those change makers in the world. So welcome. And I'm so happy to have you as the first guest of season 3.
Oh, I'm honored. And we've had many beautiful conversations, you and I, Tony, and you truly are an inspiration to me because of how you show up. And I learn from you every day. I learn from you even when you don't know that I'm learning from you, off Clubhouse, off as we get off the phone, pretty much, because that's the beauty of surrounding yourself with amazing humans who lead with their heart, and of course mind follows. They are that constant mentor. Like, for as long as you are functioning as a human, you want to have those people in your life that come to mind when you need some answers. So you that person, like, what would Tony say, what would Tony do? And then you pretend to be Tony. Of course you don't get the same answers, but yeah, you're one of those friends for me, and I'm grateful for Clubhouse. And I keep doing this because I'm connected through a phone, and it's funny how I get all of these notifications. So for anyone who doesn't know me yet, my name is Migena Agaraj, born and raised in Albania, moved to the Bronx 20 years ago, and started my journey in this beautiful country as a hostess in a diner in White Plains, working 100-hour weeks, no days off for years, having no legal status, and speaking no English, of course. I spoke Italian, and this is what helped me get by understanding Spanish, because a lot of the people in the restaurant spoke Spanish. So that's just a little bit of who Migena was as a teenager, trying to make it, to survive in this awesome country, and grateful for all of the experiences, because I probably would not have had the same level of gratitude I have today if it wasn't for all the sacrifices that my parents, my family, and myself made in order for us to be where we're at. Fast forward 20 years later, so yeah,
Well,
just a little bit of taste of that.
no, and that's fantastic. Again, it's those adversities, it's those hard times that make us who we are, right? They're the ones that mold us. It's not the easy times. We don't learn when life is easy. We learn when life is hard. We may learn a little bit when life is easy, but we really learn those important lessons when life is hard. And only by appreciating the things that we have do we get to see and find and be able to progress into what it is that we want. So I didn't even say, but the topic of today, the overarching thing is the power of showing up. And I think that, you embody that, because who you are, where you've been, where you've come from, how far you've come, and where you are today and where you're going has a lot to do with just showing up, right? And so many people don't understand that showing up is half the battle. So many people don't even show up. So many people say they want this, they want that. Listen, we just had an incredible lottery of $1.58 million. And I am not ashamed to say it. I bought a bunch of tickets, right? The reality of it is,
My dad too.
I wish I'd love to win the lottery. Did you go out and buy a ticket? You've got to take action. You've got to show up for yourself and in your life. If you want the opportunity, people are like, well, I never got opportunity. Well, opportunity is there for everyone. Are you ready to receive the opportunity? Because luck is when preparation and opportunity meet. So if you meet opportunity, but you're not prepared, guess what? There isn't going to be any luck there. It's going to be an opportunity missed, right? So it's about showing up. It's about getting up on the days that you don't feel like it. It's about getting up, dressing up, and showing up. And that's really the name of the game. And you've done just that throughout your life, whether it's working those 100-hour weeks back to back, 7 days a week without any time off and just showing up for that so you can be there to support yourself, to support your family, and to become the woman that you are today. Or whether it's showing up when I call you and I say, hey, Migena, there's an event in Manhattan. I'd love to take you to introduce you to some friends and have you there as a guest. And you say, no problem. I wasn't planning on it. I'll get myself ready and I'll be there. So it's about showing up. And showing up is half the battle because so many people just don't do that. So tell us a little bit more about that and how that's shown up in your life and how it's helped you become the woman you are and step into everything that you're stepping into now, which is a lot.
I remember showing up to that interview at the diner with no English, no experience, with a lot of fear. But I had to show up because the whys were very strong. And when I was offered to learn how to carry a tray so I could be a waitress and make more money fast forward, I showed up at the training. And as a result, I made more money for the exact same amount of time that I invested being in that diner. So I went from making $7 an hour to sometimes making a week's worth of payment into a day. So talk about what America can give to you if you give to yourself. And what you give to yourself is that permission to show up to the interview, to show up to the training, because ultimately it comes back to you showing up for yourself and for your family and for your community and for every person that you don't know it exists yet. So you are being prepared. And when I realized that showing up is actually key, I continue to show up to more interviews. I showed up for the application process when I started college. And fast forward, I have 3 degrees, 5 languages. Gave myself permission when I was a project manager to show up at an event with 1,000 people where I bought the ticket with my own money. I did not ask any of my bosses because this event was taking place after 5 p.m. and my job would be done for the day, even though as a Migena, the way I show up in the world, my job, it's never done, even after 5. There's no such thing as 9 to 5. But I'm mentioning that in the perspective of I was off the clock, meaning I wasn't taken away from company time to attend an event that was something that I wanted to do for myself, because I knew that there were so many people in that space that I couldn't meet even for years to come. So when they were all collected and hanging out in that spot, I had to show up in order for me to shake those hands. And of course, I realized that day that I knew way more people than I thought I knew. And then my bosses were like, "Oh, why didn't you tell us? We would have, given you a ticket." I said, "No, it's okay. I'll show up here, and I didn't want to put the burden on you. There's so many employees you have, so I'm not going to be in that victim mentality. Oh my God, no one thought of me. Why didn't they invite me?" I took the matters in my own hands for my own happiness, because to me it was happiness dressing up and showing up in a space where I knew there would be amazing people that I wanted to connect with. And I'm not speaking about decision makers. I'm speaking about people who managed Goldman Sachs, but they started from the bottom and they worked their way up. And I was inspired, like I was admiring them from afar. And I said, I want to be in that space. So me showing up over there sent a message to every person that knew me that, oh my goodness, like actually you can buy a ticket to an event instead of going to a store and buy a pair of shoes or a bag for $500. And it was a point in my life where I didn't even make $500 a week, because when I went from the restaurant business into the corporate world, I took a huge pay cut, but I had to do what I had to do in order for me to go big faster. So yet again, showed up for myself, connected with many people. And from that day on, I showed up to all of their events, volunteered. And fast forward, how about showing up at a networking event and meeting executive producers of a TV show, which led to them inviting me to run their red carpet event in LA, the premiere for season 1, then led to me being the associate producer for
You
the
know what?
show.
And we'll get there in a minute. Hold on.
So that's it.
Before going there, I want to just touch on a couple of things that you said. First of all, the best investment you can ever make is the investment you make in yourself. We've all heard that 1,000 times because it pays the best dividends. Because when you invest in yourself, when you buy that ticket, when you hire that coach, that strategist, that mentor, the advisor, whatever it is, you're investing in yourself and in your future. So you didn't ask for a handout. You bought the ticket. You went to the event so that you can put yourself in the right place where opportunity abounds, where making those connections, making those relationships, it's everything, and the one thing that I love also about what you said about when you worked at a diner, some days you made more money in one day than you made all week. Yeah, the other days you still showed up. And that's, I think, such an important thing, because how you do one thing is the way you do everything. And we live in an era of quiet quitting and people doing the minimum possible just to not get fired, just to keep their job, right? And and that doesn't work. And so many people are quietly quitting on their own lives, right? On their own dreams. They're quietly quitting, because if you're doing that at work, I guarantee you're doing that in other places in your life as well. You're doing that in your relationships. You're doing that with your friendships. You're doing that to yourself, right? So, and that's why I wanted to have you on here talking about this subject, because you don't quit. You are, I do use a hashtag very often. That's hashtag bad quitter. And you're one of those bad quitters. Stop being a quiet quitter. Stop being a good quitter. That's bullshit. That's not you, right? Be a bad quitter. Don't quit. If you're tired of starting over, as the saying goes, learn to rest, not quit, because then you're not starting over. And even if you do have to start over, you're starting over from experience. You're starting over from a place where you already have a stable ground, because you already know where it is and you've already conquered that. So regardless of what you're doing in your life, be the best at what you're doing. If you're a waiter or a hostess or a host or whatever it is, be the best person. If you're then taking on another job, managing real estate, managing whatever you're doing, be the best at that, because the next level of your life is going to demand the next level of you. And you need to really master and conquer where you are in order to be able to take on that next level of position. So stop quietly quitting on your life. Start showing up. Listen, my experience is very much the same. I went to a Tony Robbins event 24, 25 years ago, and I kept going. And I went as a participant time and time again, met incredible, amazing people. One of which is now on here. And I love this, Sev. She's actually one of my trainer sisters at the Tony Robbins events. And, I met her and so many amazing people throughout my journey of 24, 25 years. And then I crewed and I volunteered. And then I became a senior leader. And now I've been a trainer for the last 6 or 7 years. Right. And that's allowed me to become and shape the person who I am today. I wouldn't be able to do that if I had just played the game half-assed, if I decided I wasn't going to invest in myself, if I decided that I wasn't going to show up. So it really is about showing up in your life. Right? Because when you show up, opportunity also shows up. You have to put yourself in the place where opportunity abounds, and you can meet the right people that are going to lead you into the next level, the next opportunity of your life. And I know that you're working on that now. So you went from an immigrant girl that worked at as a hostess in a diner, to then moving into working in the real estate management in Manhattan. That's now led you into being an executive producer of a show. So tell us about that, and tell us some of the other things that you're working on and what showing up has done for you. And I know you started getting into that, but I wanted to inject a little bit more content.
I love it. Thank you for pausing me over there, because your input is very important. And when I hear you saying that you showed up year after year at this Tony Robbins event, and even though you've been doing this for over 2 decades and became one of the trainers only 6 years ago, what I hear is consistency, persistency, passion, and patience. Because oftentimes we throw our hands in the air. Oh, I've had it. I'm done, and I
I'm not going to pursue this. How shameful would have been if you did that, Tony, because fast forward, you are changing lives, even with a phone call. So when I show up, I always say, don't be selfish and not honor your gifts that could save lives, can inspire the world. Because when you show up, you're not really showing up for yourself. You're showing up for one more person or many people or thousands of people, depending how far you go with it, how high you go, not far. Yeah, exactly. How far you go and how high you go. So you could be you being that beautiful person just for your tight community, or it could be the Tony that speaks on global stages and inspires the world. But you wouldn't be at that level if you quit on showing up for yourself, because truly you are 100% responsible for everyone else that's in the world with this showing up. So I hear patience when you say that, and that's the same reason I continue to show up, because I'm thinking, if I show up to that interview and they hire me to become a supervisor or a project manager at Goldman Sachs, now I will have the opportunity to meet another 200 amazing people that I don't call my employees. They are actually there to make me a better person. So I get to know Migena a little bit better on a daily basis, on an hourly basis, through the experiences that life has for us. And they're not just there for me, they're there for all of us. The difference is who is actually showing up to enjoy and to benefit, of course, from it. So yeah, so I went from working in the diner as a hostess, then as a waitress, to graduating during the time of the financial crisis. I couldn't get a job in the financial industry. Then I ended up, while I was working as a waitress in a high-end a restaurant in Manhattan, I was hired as a temporary human resources recruiter for the summer to hire the labor that went into all the Class A office space commercial building in Manhattan. And I fell in love. I fell in love with people once again, because they're sitting there, I'm interviewing them, and the entire time I'm thinking, who gave me the right to decide someone's future? Who gave me that right that I get to say yes or no? You get hired, you don't get hired. You're qualified, you're not qualified. So I ended up hiring thousands of people that summer, to the point where the managers were like, I think we're overhired. All these drawers are full of applications. And people would show up at those offices and say, I am Migena's cousin. Meanwhile, I was living with my parents. My brother was still back home. I had no other relatives in this beautiful city, New York City. And I would just be like, that's not a cousin. But I'll say, yeah, let's meet. So then they would say, well, I heard about you at a park in Staten Island. This girl from Albania with long hair, she's hiring everybody. I need your help. And I was like, God, and I heard about you on a plane going to Albania. I am like, oh my God. And this was a temporary work.
It's almost like you hit the lottery. You had family members coming out of the woodwork.
I love it. And that, I never forget those experiences. And of course, I work as this human resources recruiter for 9 months. It was temporary. And they said, hey, today's Wednesday, your last day is Friday, because the season is over. I said, I am grateful even for the 9 months. Of course, I was wearing a suit every morning to be a human resources recruiter. And I was wearing a uniform every night to wait on Al Pacino, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Bill Clinton, you name it, the Hollywood and the government. I was good. I said, I was grateful. Like, that's the thing. I'm grateful. I'm like, you want to hire me temporary for 2 weeks? I'll sign up. When do I show up? Because to me, that's like 2 more weeks of a different experience, 2 more weeks of paid training. I'm thinking they're paying me to get trained because I'm benefiting. I'm like, I love it. $16 an hour, I'll take it. Meanwhile, I was making 6 figures in the restaurant at night for the year with 3 months of going to Albania. Like, it's insane. People are like, why are you wearing a suit? Why is your hair like my long hair, right? Always up. Always wore pants at work and high heels, to the point that all the girls started wearing makeup in the office because they saw me wear makeup. And crazy stories. And then 2 weeks
You're a
later,
leader.
I'm sorry?
Because you're a leader. You learn from other leaders, and people look at you and they want to
It's
be, people want to emulate you because of your energy, because of how you're showing up. And it's a hell of a compliment. And I love what you said, by the way, of everything is an opportunity to learn. Everyone, something I say often, and I want to make sure that everybody understands, is everyone you meet knows something you don't. And you never know. You never know. Sometimes you know something that you take for granted and you don't think about, just something, it's a puzzle piece you picked up, years ago, and you don't even know why you learned that, but whatever, it's useless information until it's not, until you're in the right environment that you perhaps need that puzzle piece for yourself, or you see somebody struggling, going through something, says, you know what, I think I have a solution for you. And you give that idea, and it's mind blowing. But it's about collecting experiences, knowledge, experience, and using that to your advantage, because there is no waste of time. There's very few things in life that are a waste of time. You're either learning a lesson, or you're learning what you don't want, who to meet, who not to meet. And again, I love your energy, because you don't say no. If there's an opportunity, take it. And here's the thing, and here's what people need to
no,
realize.
Tony, no, Tony, I'll pause you for a second. For everyone, Tony and I go back and forth for hours. So I have permission to pause him.
Of course.
It's not about when the opportunity is there, you take it. No, you create the opportunity. You create it. It's a combination. You create the flexibility. Oh, I didn't know the flexibility was there. Oh, yes, it is, because you're creating it. Because let me put it to you this way. If you're not responsible for the outcome of your own life, no one else will be. And if they will be, it's not going to be with the same intentions. Because if you don't love yourself first, how you expect others to love you? So if you haven't thought about that opportunity first, why are you blaming others that they didn't offer that opportunity to you? You're not even offering the opportunity to yourself. And the opportunity is just freaking show up. It's not you creating the TV show or you creating the diner so other people can go and work. I am speaking about the simplest and yet the simplest and the key to a world full of possibilities for many. So yeah, no, Tony, when the opportunity is not there, we have to create it. And when it's there, we have to grab it.
So where I was going with that is, opportunity is everywhere, and it's always there. Just like
I'm getting
knowledge.
comfortable now. I'm like, let's go.
No, please. Listen, you get comfortable. Opportunity is always there. Learning is always there. Connections are always there. But we need to grow into the person that we need to be in order to see the opportunity. You must be able to see the opportunity, and you may not have the eyes or the lens. You haven't acquired that knowledge experience to be able to see the opportunity where the opportunity lies. Listen, in real estate, as an example, some of the biggest and best pieces of real estate that I've owned in my life and had the opportunity to acquire and fix and flip and held for a long time, these were all properties that were on the market for seemingly a year, 2 years, that nobody wanted because they didn't see the opportunity. Right? You need to have the eyes and the experience to be able to see the opportunity isn't there. Just like the message is always there if you're willing to listen, if you've tuned your ear to it. You have to listen to those whispers, to those little things, because that's where the opportunity lies. It's in the small details. It's in the connections. It's where people refuse to go. There's a quote by Paulo Coelho that says this: the treasure you seek lies in the cave you fear to enter.
Ooh.
And most people don't show up. Most people are afraid to go into that because they're afraid of what they're going to find. Some people are afraid of success.
Oh
Some
my
people are
God.
afraid of, what happens if I become successful? I'm going to lose love of this or that one because of the relationships that they have with money, with other people. There's so much out there, so we're actually saying the same thing. We're speaking, it's funny. You picked up, you stopped me. You said basically, this is, that's what I like about you, because we're really talking about a lot of the same things in different ways. So I was going there anyway. So I just love that you put that in. So 100%, I'm with you.
Yeah. But yeah, so, and then the journey began with, again, your last day is Friday. Sure, not a problem. Little did I know that people were supposed to give you 2 weeks notice. I got 2 days notice. And afterwards, as people were saying, wait, you mean the day after tomorrow? I'm like, yeah. And meanwhile, I'm thinking, yeah, sure. What, I mean, why not? They're like, and years later, as I was in a position where I was learning more about the codes of the labor and this and that, I was like, oh, interesting. But then 2 weeks later, they called me back and they're like, hey, would you like to come back? We don't guarantee you another full-time job, but now that the season is over for the employees, all of the people in the office are going on vacation, so we don't have someone to replace them. I'm like, bingo. Now I will learn 10 other skills. I'm like, sure. Can you start Monday? I'm like, no, I'll start tomorrow. They're like, wait, tomorrow is Thursday. I'm like, I work at the restaurant every night. I'm going to do anything in the morning. They're like, oh my God, this woman is crazy. A second round on a temporary $16 hour job in New York City at a time that people were making over six figures. And she's like, let's go. She's either stupid or desperate, because there's no way someone in their right head would say, yeah, I'll come back and exploit me some more. To me, it's like, thank you for honoring me. Another opportunity to continue to grow and learn the databases and learn this and learn that. I show up, Tony, on a Thursday morning. And by Monday of the next week, so it took them 2 days, they already set me up for an interview to be a supervisor in a Class A commercial building. So it took them 2 days. They're like, oh, we're not going to let her go again this time.
But you see, and you get that by showing up, by having the courage to lean in to what you don't want. Few people are willing to pay the price. And you know what they saw? They saw, holy cow, this girl is willing to pay the price and take that $16 an hour job, which obviously she's overqualified for. But had you not shown up, had you played small, had you been quietly quitting and just done the very minimum that you had to stay employed, you wouldn't have the opportunity to become that supervisor. But that wasn't it. You went from supervising that one building to more buildings, to multiple buildings, to running the whole division, right?
Yes,
Now,
so true. So true.
and now tell us a little bit more about, tell us a little bit more about the show that you're working on now and the opportunity that is, because that's exciting. And tell us what else you're involved now, because now you're also a capital investor, or you're raising capital. You're an investor yourself in syndicated properties, in apartment buildings, in new projects, ground up construction. Tell us a little bit about that, because again, your evolution from the immigrant girl that didn't speak English to working at the diner, to then transitioning to working for a property management company, to then becoming one of the managers, to becoming one of the leaders in the organization, to now evolving into who you are, is part of the process of growing, right? And growing through what you go through. So tell us a little bit more about the show and what you're doing now in your life.
Sure. So the show is called America's Real Deal. I am one of the associate producers. I also am the TV host, is in the sense that when we have the red carpet events, I interview all of the business owners, celebrities, investors, mentors at the red carpet. And oh my God, that show is designed for me, because we as a group are helping the everyday American who has a business so they can scale. So I, as my producer said, you are in the business of growth and opportunity. So yet again, here I am doing this national outreach for all these businesses to participate on this show, so they can have more funds and scale, and eventually we take them public. So super honored to be on that team. What else is going on? When I decided to quit my job a year and a half ago as director of business development for a $1 billion company, the attitude was, life is no longer taking me. I'm going to take life, because at the end of the day, when you work for a company, you're still very limited, and I'd like to be limitless. And I've worked very hard to be limitless. 2 decades of working hard in many different roles, from managing Goldman Sachs to having Federal Reserve banks to 20 million plus square foot of real estate space that I was responsible for client retention, business development, expansion, operations, were all heads of the world, while volunteering in all of these organizations, raising millions of dollars collectively for St. Jude's Hospital and many other charities. I said, you know what, let's pause. Let's not stop, but let's pause, and let's think of Paulo Coelho and The Alchemist, and let's go on this journey of self-discovery and find a treasure, because I felt that I hadn't found the treasure yet. I felt very I felt in a dilemma. And then I go into this journey of rediscovery, end up in real estate summits with Grant Cardone, connecting with thousands of people, get up in his, go and sign up on his real estate club, get certified as a 10x business advisor, trainer, and mentor, showing up some more, becoming a member of different organizations, and that's what led me to being in the TV show, and that's what has led me to be better informed, and not only for myself, for even my community that it's ever growing, so they can start in the journey of investing not just in themselves through master classes and these self-development events, but also invest in themselves through real estate, have money work for them. As they say, you want to trade time for money or money for time. So it becomes a point in your life where you appreciate yourself more than when I was going 24/7 for years nonstop. So there has to come a time where you pause, because now you are surrounding yourself with people who have done that before. So you don't have to go through the journey and waste or spend or invest, however you see it, 30 years in order for you to get from point A to point B. We are blessed enough in today's world that through your knowledge, Tony, and through the knowledge of so many other of my mentors, I don't have to invest 10 years. I could invest 1 year to get knowledge worth of 10 years. But that's, again, me showing up on your podcast, me showing up on your clubhouse room, me showing up at the event that you invite me to, because eventually, if I say no, you will stop inviting me and you will start inviting someone else. So, and as a result, now I am a real estate investor, passively and actively. I have written 3 books in 1 year, and working on project 4 and 5. All book collaborations with phenomenal women from all over the globe. So I like to call myself a global focus connector, collaborator, speaker, influencer, and I am yet to get to know myself better on a daily basis through how I am being embraced by everything and everyone in the world. And it's been a phenomenal journey, and it's only the beginning.
I love that. And, and it really is about loving yourself, honoring yourself, and respecting yourself. And again, just showing up, because you think you're showing up for that thing, for that person, for that event, but you're ultimately really showing up for yourself. You're showing up for you. You're showing up for the person in the mirror. Sorry, just got to plug my machine back in here. You're showing up for yourself, and people don't understand. They don't seem to realize that. And that's the most important thing to do. And not understanding that. And I love that you came back to Paulo Coelho, because The Alchemist is definitely one of my favorite reads, and I've read that book on more than one occasion. I refer to it often, and I refer to Paulo Coelho often. Because it's inspirational, the stories that he shares, and how he speaks volumes, right? Mm-hmm. Absolutely speaks volumes. So, how we're showing up and what we're doing in life has so much to do with us, right? It has so much to do with who we are. And, the journey that you go on in The Alchemist, think about what actually happens. I don't want to spoil the story. And even if I tell you the outcome, it doesn't matter, because the story itself is so powerful, so inspirational. Ultimately, where does he find that treasure?
At the old church with a dead tree.
Under the rock.
Under the
rock that he would sit at as a child, watching the sheep.
The sheep.
Right? So how does that really relate to us? And what that ultimately means is the treasure was home the whole time. The treasure is in you the whole time.
You are the treasure.
The journey is the inward journey of self-discovery and discovering who you are, right? Yeah. And the journey of becoming who it is that you're destined to be and who you're destined to become. So ultimately, that's what that is. It's that inner journey of self-discovery and putting yourself out there so that you can learn and grow and become the person that you are destined to become. So I love that book. Love that story.
Same. And I'm loving this restream thing, because I had to connect my own channels, but I'm loving my phone, and we get to check all these different features. This is awesome. So unprepared for this, but here we are showing up with all of the imperfections of live. And I love it that we are like, I'm thinking the entire time, do I need to wipe my screen because it's a little blurry from my makeup because I was on the phone? And the entire time I'm thinking about that. And it's so funny that you're looking for a charger.
No,
My phone
I'm doing it because I have my charger, but I don't see the little battery icon showing up.
I'm doing
like,
this
oh,
now.
no. I'm at 9% battery, and I don't know why
Stop it.
my charger isn't cooperating. That's why
I am at 9% battery.
Well, that's okay, because we're wrapping up. We're at 40 minutes, and we're going to try to keep this to about 45 minutes. And I think
I love it.
9% is going to be enough for us to wrap up what we need to wrap up. You know, the one thing that I think that is epically important, and this has been what we've been talking about the whole time, it's about showing up. It's about showing up for yourself. And if until you get to the point of showing up for yourself, you've got to say, I'm showing up for someone else. I'm showing up for a different reason. I'm showing up for myself, or I'm showing up for my kids. I'm showing up for my spouse. I'm showing up for my boss. I'm showing up for my creator, whatever it is, show up. And it really is. Remember that the journey of life, we're all going through this little thing called life, and the journey is unique to us, but it ultimately is about finding the treasure inside of us. Yet it's hard to find the treasure if you don't do the work, if you don't dig, right? It's hard to find the treasure if you don't go around the world like the little shepherd in The Alchemist. And he goes but every job, here's the thing, here's a lesson about The Alchemist, and that reminds me a lot of Migena, is every job that he wound up taking, which was not the job that was not the job that he wanted. It wasn't the riches that he was looking for, yet he found richness in that, and he found power and strength in himself because he mastered whatever that trade was. It was he became a steel worker, or a metalsmith, an ironsmith, whatever you call it now. I'm drawing a blank on it. Then he was a sheep herder. Then he became that. Then he became a carpenter, and he had these careers, and he mastered all of those. And
he even polished the glasses. Remember?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. There's all of these things. He mastered those, and he became the best that he could at it. He wasn't quietly quitting at any of it. Blacksmith. Thank you, Walter, for that. I just got the lifeline. All of these things he mastered. And then when he retired and he went back home, he found out that the treasure he was seeking was there the whole time. The treasure you're seeking is already in you, but you must do the work. Go out and show up for yourself. Do the work. If you're sweeping floors, be the best damn floor sweeper you can be. If you're whatever it is you're doing, you're a real estate agent, you're an insurance broker, you're a construction worker, you're a nurse, you're a doctor, whatever it is, master that. Be the best you can be at that. Because as you do that, the next opportunity opens up. Maybe it's a TV show. Maybe it's the opportunity to get involved in real estate investments, and whatever it is that you're looking for is also looking for you. You've just got to prepare yourself so that you can recognize the opportunity and be the person you need to be in order to seize the opportunity. Because it's not enough to get in the room. Sometimes who you know gets you in the room, but it's what you know that keeps you in the room. It might get you in the door rather, but what keeps you in the room is what you know, and the content of your character, your experience, and how far you're willing to go to get things done, right? So learn along the way. Make sure that you're showing up. Show up, dress up. Well, get up, show up, and dress up. Most people don't even want to get out of the house anymore. They want to just, work remotely, and they want to just do this and that. And while, some of those things can be done, most of them cannot. So it's time to get back to work. That's right. And if you are working from home, go do some work outside. Go to a WeWork, or go to one of these other places so you can take yourself out of the comfortable environment that you're in, so you can stretch, because we've all gotten a little too comfortable. And again, comfort zone feels great, but nothing grows there. So it's time for us to grow, right? So tell us, Migena, where can people find you? And they want to know more about you and your book. By the way, we'll put the link to your book in the comments section of all of YouTube and LinkedIn and everywhere else that we're broadcasting right now. We'll put the link to your books, and we'll put the link to your website. But tell everybody now where they can find you, the title of your book.
Sure.
Good stuff.
So I am active on major social medias: LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Please follow my YouTube channel if you want, if you can. It's super light, but that won't stop us from showing up every day. I also have written in a book collaboration, Powerful Female Immigrants, Volume 1, 2, and Volume 3 is coming up. And also just launched Real Women in Real Estate, a collaboration with 30 phenomenal women, 27 stories, and leading the project with another friend of mine. So, and Volume 2 is coming up next year. And my website is askmigena.com. So it's very simple. You need something, you ask me. And I'm so grateful, Tony, for the opportunity to share a little bit of my story here with your audience, because you say it all the time, and I quote you in many spaces. Our stories are not for us to keep, are for us to share with the world. And I am always looking for that next opportunity, raising my physical and virtual hand and letting people know that I would love to support them and share our journeys, because we know for a fact it will impact and inspire, even if it's one person in the world. So grateful for this experience today. I couldn't hear you, Tony.
100.
Oh, now I hear you.
Well, I'm grateful to have you. And again, your story, and I love to share this quote myself, and one of mine is that your story may be yours, but it's yours to keep. It's yours to share, because by sharing your story, yeah, I don't know what's going on now. The internet's getting a little funky. Yeah, internet's getting a little funky. What I said was your story may be yours, but it's not yours to keep. It's yours to share, because stories we help others go through what they go through. So really appreciate you, Migena, who you are, and continuing to see the growth. And by the way, Migena we're going to have a speaking engagement sometime late October. So look out. Migena is going to be gracing our stage there as well, sharing her stories, and you'll have the opportunity to meet her, to meet me, to meet so many other amazing people, to meet Doug Gordon, to meet Stefan, to meet Barbara Jeske, and all these other incredible speakers that we're going to have. And that's going to be in New York City, in New York, or the New York area. So look out for that. Keep going. And my friends, life is not about how many times you fall, because we all fall. And it's about getting up every fall, because when you fall, you have the opportunity to learn. When you get up, you have the opportunity to grow. And every single time we fall, my friends, we have the opportunity to get up and grow. Grow we must. Well, appreciate you, Migena, for being here. In New York City, that's right. I'm not in New York City, in fairness, but I'm about 46 miles away, so almost enough. So appreciate you. Appreciate everyone that's been here to this interview and to share this first show of season 3, episode 1. Thank you, Migena. Appreciate you and everyone that's out there. Just go out there and make a difference.